Okay, folks, let's go ahead and get started with activity 3 of week 4. I'm going to do activity 3.3, but I'm going to also do 2 1.3 and 2.3. I'm going to start this from the very beginning. The more times you see it, the more it will make sense. So I'm just going to pull up my AutoCAD right now. And I've got my architectural exemplar open. And let me move it over. And here's my new drawing. So I just need to, I was playing around with that. Let me save that now as plate 4.3. And let me get my caps lock correct. So there we go. There's plate 4.3. And I'm going to, I'll rename that later on to get my initials on it and things like that. So I've got started. So my next thing to do is to bring in my layouts. You can see in my architectural exemplar, I've got architectural A and B. And in this case, we're using B size for the architectural one. So here I go. I'm in my plate 4.3. My design center is open. I'm looking at my layouts, and I'm going to bring in my architectural size B. And I'm going to do one new thing here that you'll probably want to do later on. I'm going to rename it as plate 4.3 architectural. And this is going to be my cover page. You're going to find later on that we need 2 pages for this. So there we go. And then, as I recall, I deleted my extra ones. Now, you don't have to do that. It just helps you keep things straight if you have the least amount in here as possible. Okay, so now let's take a look and see. I think I want to bring in my layers, and I'm just going to bring in all of them. And I'm going to bring in my dim styles, and the one that I really need is architectural scale factor 1. So let's see what I've got here. Do I have all of my, yes, look at all those ones. And I even have windows. Oh, I don't have walls. I'm going to have to make a walls. I can't believe I don't have walls in there. I'll go back and put that into my exemplar and bring it in right now. So that's home, layer properties. I do have walls in there. So why didn't I pull it in? Let me go back to my layers. There's walls. Probably just didn't go far enough. Let me make sure I got all of them in there. There we go. Let's see what I got in here. Now I've got them in there. So I've got my layers and I've got the dim style I need. I have my layouts. I think I'm ready to go. And here we are set right here. Okay, let me start drawing now. That's what I'm going to do. Well, let me go back and make sure I've done everything. Oh, I need to put in now my contractor notes, my revision notes, and my window and door table. See, I always have to go back and see what I'm supposed to do. Okay, so that's in my blocks. And that's going to be on here. I should have some general notes. There's my architectural general notes. I'll bring them in. And guess what? I just put those on the wrong layer. I do that all the time. So I can click on it and put it on the text layer. So let me make my text layer useful now. And so here's my windows and doors. And here's my revisions. And you can line these up, try to get them nice and in line. If I click there and bring it up, now it's right in place and I can bring it up straight. I'm just clicking on stuff. So there is more that goes on your cover page. Sure. Oh, and I just did them on the wrong one. I hope you guys pay closer attention than I do. Those should have been put on my plate 4.3. So let me do it all again. Get into my text. There's my general notes, my revisions, and usually these are put in all sorts of different places depending on the complexity, but I'm just giving you an idea of what goes on here. Cool. So it doesn't take too long. Contractor notes, revisions, window and door table. Let's see what activity 3 is. I'm actually going to draw something now. Okay. So I'm going to go to my model space and I'm going to show you where that is. This time I'm going to set myself for architectural units. That's a new thing for you to do. And as appropriate, I'm going to draw the walls, the doors, the windows, and I don't need furniture and stuff like that. So let me just start doing that. So the model space that we're supposed to be in now is this one over here. It's your main model. It's not a layout. If I'm in my layout, of course, I can do either one. I want to go over to my model over here. Okay, so I've got my model open and I'm going to start drawing. Now, what am I going to draw? I have to find it now. Here it is. I'm going to draw this. So let me talk about it for just a moment. These are thick walls on the wall layer, and they're spaced at 5 1/2 inches. This is for a 2x6 wall, and we're just doing the framing. So it's a 5 1/2 inch on the exterior walls, and it's 3 1/2 inch on the interior walls. That's a 2x6 and a 2x4. And don't worry about the fact that this one is also, it's called a shear wall, and it's probably got a beam support. You're just going to draw that as a regular wall. You don't need to worry about making that one thick. Okay, so you're going to draw the walls, the windows, and the doors. If you get the deck done, that's good. You're not going to do these furniture layouts just yet. The main thing to know is the walls are 5 1/2 inches apart and the interior ones are 3 1/2. Okay, and it's telling me all the dimensions here. So I'm going to bring that down out of the way where I'm looking at it. And I'm going to do a few things. It said set your units. So I'm going to type units. And I'm going to set myself as an architect. That means that when I type the foot symbol, the apostrophe, it knows that I'm talking about a foot. Okay, so that's set. And what was the other thing I was supposed to do? Model space, architect. Now start drawing. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to zoom out a little bit because it's pretty big. And I'm going to go to my wall layer. Where did my wall layer go? I keep thinking I put it in there. There we go. There's my wall layer. And my first line at the very bottom is 36 feet long. So I'm going to draw a line. I can start anywhere. I'm going to have my ortho on for this because it'll be easier. And I'm going to draw 36 and an apostrophe for the foot symbol. Now I got to zoom in on it. If I double click my mouse wheel and then scroll out a little bit, that's 36 feet long. Okay. Now, I'm going to think ahead. I actually know I'm going to want to offset that whole thing at once. So now that I've got my size right, I'm going to make something called a polyline. And I'm going to draw my 36 feet, enter, and then I'm going to keep going. Since a polyline, this is going to be all one thing. It says go 18 feet up. Oh, I didn't put in the foot symbol. Try it again. You got to be careful as you do this. 36 feet, enter. 18 feet, enter. 6 feet, enter. 6 feet, enter. I'm just watching my dimensions that are on my drawing. 22 feet, 12 feet, 8 feet, and close it off. And then type enter to finish the polyline command. That's all one thing. So now when I do my offset, I'm going to type it, offset 5.5. Now, I can type the inches symbol or just leave it alone. 5.5, it's inches. And I'm going to click on my polyline and make it go. And look, I got the whole thing. That is so cool. Okay, and then I know, and there's actually a way to draw these lines. If I look at some of these other lines and the ways I can draw parallel lines, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to make us do it the old-fashioned way. Okay, so now this one, my interior wall will come from that corner down, and I'll tap this corner, and I'll get my tracking on. Should have my tracking on. There it goes. Click. Click. Okay, and one is going to offset one way, and these are going to be 3.5. One offsets inwards. This one offsets outwards. And now you got to do a bunch of those fillet commands. Watch this. Fillet with a radius R, enter, of 0, enter, and I can make these click, click, and then enter to repeat the command, click, click. I get perfect corners. Now this one is going to be over 12 foot 6 inches from here. So I'm going to draw over 12 foot 6 inches. That's 12 foot dash 6 inches. And then I'm just going to come down until I hit. And I like to get rid of my extra lines. And then that's an offset of 3.5 inches. And I have some trimming to do. Now, it's important. I've got a bunch done here, and I don't want to make a mistake. So I'm going to save this really quickly. There we go. I see I have another trim. Clean this up here. Trim. Now I have the ones at the bottom. Those are up 7 foot 9 inches. So I just draw a little line, 7 foot dash 9 inches. One is an apostrophe, one's a quote. And it's going to go over, and I'm going to do this like it tells me. 7 foot 9 inches. And then my next one is 8 feet. And then my next one is 12 feet. There's a reason I'm doing it this way. And then I have one that comes down. And then those are to my end points. Oh, isn't that cool? Because I drew each one the right length, I can do those. And now I just have my offsets. Offset. It's already set for 3.5. Inward. Click inward. Click inward. And this one also inward. So now you can see we just have some trimming, or I could be really cool. And let's see what happens when I do fillet. Might be quicker. And I can do the multiple command too, but I'm going to do these one at a time. Each time I do one, I hit enter to redo the next. Oh, don't want to do that one. This one I'm going to have to trim because it was going to take away too much stuff. And I think I need to do my trim down here too. So there's the first part of 4. Oh, I got one more to go. You have to be careful. You want to look things over to make sure that you've got everything. And I'm comparing it to the drawing, and it looks like I've got 1, 2, 3 rooms, 2 rooms, a hallway, and I'm ready for my doors and windows, but that's the next video.